Is that the motion be agreed to, and I call the Manager of Opposition Business.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. There's no doubt that the extraordinary transformation of our economy, being driven by digital technology in multiple manifestations and waves over the last 30 to 40 years, has been absolutely profound. And there's also no doubt that the speed and extent of change is only going to increase over coming decades. And what is absolutely critical is that Australia as a nation and that the Australian government are focused on the economic opportunities which the digital transformation of our economy can deliver. Unfortunately, we have a government which is nostalgic for the 1950s, which is looking back to a time when most employees worked full-time, when most employees were men, when the workforce was very heavily unionised, and when long-standing workplace rigidities suited very much the interests of union bosses. Now, it's true that consumers came a long way behind, and we discovered that they paid higher prices and got poorer service than in many other countries in the world. But notwithstanding that, we've just seen a piece of legislation go through the House today which speaks volumes for the essential hostility of this government and of key ministers, including the Minister for Workplace Relations, to technology, to the digital economy, to innovation, to productivity, and they are doing everything they can to turn this country in a backward direction, back towards a 1950s era before computers were widespread and before there were such annoying things as smartphones and as flexible employment and as the internet and all the cornucopia of choices and options it offers for consumers and all of the new business models that it's created. Every one of these business models hated by this Labor government, hated by the union bosses, and that is why the approach of this Albanese Labor government towards the digital economy and indeed towards artificial intelligence is backward thinking. It's disappointing. It's not fit for purpose. The previous government, the Morrison government, had a minister for the digital economy and had a very clear strategy in relation to the digital economy and Australia being a leading digital economy. That goal has been dumped by the present government, a complete lack of ambition. And the best justification we've just had from the member for Bennelong is that apparently he is now an enthusiast for small government. That would make him a pretty lonely enthusiast on the other side of the House. He certainly won't find his career advancing if he continues to advocate that enthusiasm, and it's not credible at all. The real reason that he is opposing what we are calling for in this motion, this excellent motion moved by the member for KC and seconded by the member for Hughes, two outstanding new coalition members doing such a great job. The real reason he opposes it is because, of course, he too, like all on that side of the House, are under the yoke, the suffocating orthodoxy of the union-friendly government, which is so committed to doing everything it can to hold back growth, hold back progress, hold back technology. Let's talk a bit about artificial intelligence. You know, Professor Anton van den Hengel of Adelaide University, a leading thinker in this field, points out there are only around 200 PhDs in Australia focused on artificial intelligence. We heard wafty words about how we're working cooperatively with Europe, with the US, with China on dealing with the risks. I'll tell you what the real risk is for Australia. The real risk when it comes to artificial intelligence is that we get caught napping and every other country in the world is using these tools to improve the productivity of the resources sector, of the agriculture sector, of the manufacturing sector, of the retail sector. We need to see a much more determined focus on productivity. I feel like I'm howling into the wind after the productivity-destroying legislation that's been passed today, but that does not change the imperative our nation faces. We need to be more productive. We need to take advantage of the technology. At the moment, this government is sleepwalking into disaster. They've got no interest in the digital economy, and they are demonstrating that on a daily basis.